Hi, fellow sports lovers, Timeout lovers, and Periscope lovers. Welcome to another episode of Timeout, a show anybody can watch about sports, stats, facts, and everything in between, from a fan point of view. I'm your host, Charlie, so let's go get this ball rolling. Timeout. Let's talk about some sports. How did I miss that? Okay, fellow sports lovers, here we go! That's right, with week 111 of the NFL all 86th and finished up, boy did we have some battles going on this Sunday, and Monday night. Such as the Miami Dolphins making a splash and stealing a victory in the FedEx Field against the Redskins with a 17-10 victory. But by the way, that bad man Aaron Rodgers and his Green Bay stud Packers had an all-out battle against my Chicago Bears, as Aaron Rodgers wrestled down the Bears with a victory 31-23 in Soldier Field. The Buffalo Bills proved everyone wrong this weekend and bum rushed Andrew Luck, who was not so lucky, with the Bills beating the Colts 27-14. And Jerry World and Tony Romo showed everyone no Dez, no problem, as the Cowboys roped in a victory in the AT&T Stadium against Broadway Eli and his Giants with a 27-26 victory, with everyone saying, "How about them Cowboys?" And finally, Monday night, we had an all-out bird fight with the top dog of the skies, the Eagles, going against the Atlanta Falcons, as Matty the Ice surprises the football world with a victory at home, 26-24 in the Georgia Dome. Wow, talk about some intense football this weekend. Timeout. Let's talk about this. Wow, what an exciting weekend of the NFL football we had to start off this Sunday football. With games starting them off with a bang. Well, unfortunately though, I can't talk about everybody's team. But here are the picks that this sports fan and timeout lover watched this weekend. So, without further ado, timeout. Woohoo! It's NFL season time. Okay, our first game we're going to talk about is about a packed stadium at the FedEx Field, as quarterback Kirk Cousins of the Redskins had an all-out battle with the new talk of the town in Miami superstar Ryan Tannehill, with an all-out battle. With the first and second quarter, the Skins really turned down for what? With their kicker, Kai Forbeath, getting a field goal to start off the game. The Dolphins finally started swimming in to victory lane, going into the end of the second, as well as the fourth quarter, as well such as Dolphin stud Rashard Matthews got into victory lane, as well as at the end, Superfish, as everybody knows, Mr. Superstar Jarvis Landry of the Dolphins gets a 64, that's right, fellow sports lovers, a 64-yard punt return to win the game 17-10. Their superstars in the game on the Dolphins side were quarterback Ryan Tannehill, alright, who got 226 yards, 1 touchdown, and finished for 22-34. On the rushing leader side for the Dolphins, we've got Lamar Miller, who got 13 carries, 53 yards. And then on the receiving leader side, we have former Cleveland Brown, now Dolphin, Jordan Cameron, who got 4 receiving and 73 yards. On the Redskins side, the superstars of the day was quarterback Kirk Cousins, who had 196 yards, 1 touchdown, but unfortunately got 2 interceptions and finished for 21-31. Their rushing leader, Alfred Morez, who, by the way, if you didn't see, got kind of kicked by Dolphin Ndamukong Suh. He got 25 carries for 121 yards. And finally, the mean Virginia Pierre Garçon got 74 yards and 6 receiving. But nonetheless, the woo-hoo! Yeah! Miami Dolphins get a victory in their first game of the regular season, 17-10. The next game we're going to talk about was also in the afternoon. It was about my Chicago Bears versus our arch nemesis, the Green Bay Packers. With the game being in Chi-Town, the game was basically a back and forth battle. I was actually impressed on how my Bears did, as they pretty much held their own against superstars like the bad man Aaron Rodgers, and can't forget about Jones and Randall Cobb, of course. And with Chicago not really finding their it factor with Brandon Marshall yet, even though they have studs like Mr. Reliable, number 22, Matt Forte, and can't forget about number 17, Alshon Jeffrey, they made the Packers definitely, sweat one out. Nonetheless, the bad man Aaron Rodgers, man, I hate to say it, but it's true, game's gotta recognize game, and his rough and tough Green Bay Packers beat my Chicago Bears with a 31-23 victory in Soldier Field. Even though my Bears lost, we do have some top Bears roaring. Woohoo! Such as quarterback, I don't give him a lot of credit usually, but I gotta give credit where credit is due, Jay Cutler with 225 yards and did actually get 1 touchdown. Did kind of get a wah with 1 interception though, and finished for 18-36. But he couldn't do it without Mr. Reliable, number 22, Matt Forte. Woohoo! Getting loud with 24 carries and 141 yards and 1 touchdown. But he couldn't make it happen without stud bear, rook veteran, Alshon Jeffrey, who got 78 yards and 5 receiving. On the Green Bay Packers side, their studs of the night was, of course, the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, who got 189 yards, not 1, not 2, but 3, count them, 3 touchdowns, and finished for 18-23. And of course, his rushing leader, Eddie Lacy, who, sorry Bears fans, I know this kind of hurts, but I did pick him up on fantasy, and he definitely helped me out with a lot of points. He went off to the races, by the way, on Sunday, with 19 carries and 85 yards, and 1 touchdown. And can't forget about receiving leader Devontae Adams, who got 59 yards and 4 receiving. But nonetheless, the bad man Aaron Rodgers and his mean green cheesehead Green Bay Packer machines had an all-out battle against my Bears, 31-23. The next game, we move on. The next game we're going to talk about, we're going to move to upstate New York to go to the Ralph Wilson Stadium as the Buffalo Bills shocked the world with a victory. That's right, they beat the Colts as Andrew Luck was not so luck. Could not connect to any one of his all-star players. Even though they lost, there were some still superstars and shining Colt stars, such as, at the helm, Mr. Andrew Luck, who got 243 yards, not one but 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, that kind of hurt, but finished for 26-49. But he couldn't do it without former stud of the 49ers, new stud of the Colts, Frank Gore, who got 8 carries and 31 yards. And finally, can't forget about Mr. All Day, Everyday, T.Y. Hilton, who got 85 yards and 7 receiving. On the Buffalo Bills side, the brand new quarterback, gotta give him props, man. Stepping up, beating Andrew Luck. Tyrod Taylor had an awesome afternoon with 195 yards, 1 touchdown, and finished for 14-19. But he couldn't do it without his stud Carlos Williams, who got 55 yards and 1 touchdown, as well as 6 carries. But you gotta give it up for all day, everyday Superman Percy Harvin. Woo-hoo! Also my fantasy, by the way, just saying, got 5 receiving and 79 yards, as well as 1 touchdown. The next game we're going to talk about is the Sunday night football game. Oh man, timeout lovers, Periscope lovers, man did we have a good one here. This is all about them. How about them Cowboys versus them Broadway superstars, the New York Giants. With Dez being hurt in this game, by the way, folks, with breaking his right foot and out to 4 to 8 weeks. Ouch, that hurts, by the way, really hurts. The Giants pretty much had this game won. If you were watching this game, honestly, Giants had this happening. With them getting not 1 but 2 back, one after another interceptions, courtesy of the Cowboys. And then only in 7 seconds, Eli Manning and the Giants get the ball. And they get the clock turned back. So they have the ball, right? And they take the ball. And what does he do? Broadway Eli chokes within the last second and throws it up to nobody. So of course the Cowboys get the ball. And within 7 seconds, Mr. Tony Superstar Romo starts going to work and throws it not only Mr. Dunbar, who gets to catch and starts running, and then of course he throws it to my fantasy football pick and Mr. Reliable, the tight end, Jason Witten, for a woo Cowboys victory. 27, that's right, 27-26. Mind-blowing game, fellow timeout lovers, sports lovers. And the whole world was basically saying, how about them Cowboys? Woo-hoo! What a game. The superstars on the Cowboys stars on their side was, of course, their captain, Tony Romo, who had 356 yards, count them, not 1, not 2, but 3 touchdowns, but kind of messed up with 2 interceptions, and finished for 36-45. Also, on the Cowboys side, Joseph Randall got 16 carries and 65 yards. And, of course, finally, Mr. Lance Dunbar, who really stepped up the game during the last few minutes of the 4th quarter, got 8 receiving and 70 yards. On the Giants side, even though they lost, the Broadway superstars were, of course, Broadway Eli Manning, who got 139 yards and finished for 20 to 36 with no touchdowns, by the way, courtesy of Eli. Rashard Jennings helped out, who got 13 carries. And can't forget about former Patriot, now Giant, Shane Vereen with 46 yards and 4 receiving. But nonetheless, them Cowboys, woo-hoo, beat the Giants with a 27 to 26 victory. Having everyone's mouth just literally, guys, just boom, drop to the ground. Finally, the last game we're going to talk about today is last night's Monday Night Football game with an all-out battle of the birds. Woo-hoo! With the Birdman, with the Eagles getting plucked out of the sky and their feathers getting raffled as the ATL. Woo-hoo! Falcons sneaking a victory at home in the Georgia Dome with a 26 to 24 victory. The superstars of the Falcons was Matty Ice Ryan with 298 yards, not one but 2 touchdowns, courtesy of course my boy Julio Jones, who I picked up on fantasy, just saying, had an immaculate night. Matty did have 2 interceptions though, and he finished for 23 to 34. But he couldn't do it without Travis Coleman, who got 20 carries and 80 yards. And of course, can't forget about superstar guy I was just talking about, my main man, Mr. Number 11, double down, Julio Jones, with 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 9 receiving. On the Eagles side, even though they lost and had a couple situations, Sam Bradford, the quarterback for the Eagles, had a decent-ish night with 336 yards, 1 touchdown, but kind of boom, bombed with 2 interceptions, and finished for 36 to 52. Of course, he couldn't make it happen without all day, every day, Mr. Flash Gordon, Darren Sproles, getting 50 yards and 5 carries, and receiving leader, who unfortunately dropped the ball at the last minute, even though it was the first game of the season, Jordan Matthews, who got 102 yards and 10 receiving. Nonetheless, though, woo-hoo! Yeah, them Falcons get a steal and a victory in the Georgia Dome against an needs work on defense. And come on, Chip Kelly, if you're going to pay this much for DeMarco Murray, maybe you should play him more than what you did last night. Work on Eagles with a 26 to 24 victory. Man, talk about some awesome games we had this weekend. Timeout. It's pick time. Okay, fellow sports lovers, Periscope lovers, football lovers of all sports of all time, the end of week 111 is over and in the NFL. And here are my picks for week 222. So, timeout. It's pick time. Okay, Broncos versus the Chiefs. I had to really contemplate about this one. Back and forth. And you know what? As much as the Chiefs are stepping up, I mean, Alex Smith is looking like a stud. I mean, Travis Kelce is looking like an amazing tight end. But you can't go wrong with the Broncos. You can't go wrong with Peyton Manning. I'm still not on that boat that Peyton Manning's washed up yet, and I really think he's going to possibly throw to C.J. Anderson this week, as well as, of course, Ronnie Hillman. Okay, next, coming up, we have the Patriots versus the Bills. Oh, man. This is actually a really tough one, too, because the Buffalo Bills really shocked the football world on Sunday, getting a win against Andrew Luck and the Colts. But, you know what? As much as I do not like the Patriots personally, game's got to recognize game. And honestly, I mean, with Tom Brady just on that vengeance, gotta win everything style, as well as Gronk being more healthier than ever, And getting back, LeGarrette Blount, by the way, who was suspended, but he's back next week. Not to mention, Julia Edelman got some points last week as well. I really think that the Patriots, I think it's going to be close, but I think the Patriots are going to beat the Bills. Okay, Cardinals versus the Bears. Now, I know last week I definitely went with the Packers, and all the Bears fans were like, why would you do that? But I was right, unfortunately. I wish I was wrong, but I was right. Well, honestly, this week, I'm sorry, Bears fans, but I'm going to have to pick Cardinals. I just feel like Carson Palmer's more of an elite quarterback than Jay Cutler. And he just has more alert people to throw to. Michael Floyd, Patrick Peterson. I mean, there's just more studs in Arizona. And I mean, honestly, and that safety is nobody to mess with too, as well as that defense in the Cardinals. And Cardinals did almost make it to the Super Bowl last year, if you folks don't remember. So unfortunately, sorry Bears fans, but I'm going Cardinals. Okay, Dolphins versus Jaguars. I had to think about this one too, and I'm going to go with the Fish, Dolphins. With having so many key players, with K&E still out there, Greg Jennings, with Jordan Cameron stepping up this week. I mean, Ndamukong Suh, Cameron Wake, not to mention Brett Grimes getting that interception against the Redskins last week. I think they're just going to blow out the Jags. Cowboys versus Eagles. I had to do a back and forth about this one too. Even though the Cowboys had a surprisingly and shocking win last week, and the Eagles basically didn't really use DeMarco Murray to their advantage, of course, last night. I really think, though, that the Eagles are really going to step up their game next week, especially losing this game. They kind of have a vengeance and ready to give it their all. Even though the Cowboys are elite, I mean, but without number 88, I mean, how long can you last, Cowboys? Tony Romo was elite, don't get me wrong, but Jason Witten and, I mean, Terrence Williams, no offense, but you're not no Dez Bryant. Okay, Seahawks versus the Packers. I thought about this back and forth, and I mean, with the still situation with Cam Chancellor, and honestly, that is a big factor in these games. With him may or may not be playing, and the Packers just being elite with the bad man Aaron Rodgers and having Jones back, Devontae Adams stepping up his game, Eddie Lacy, of course, out to the races. I'm gonna go Packers. Okay, the final game, the Monday Night Football game. We have the Jets versus the Colts. I thought about this back and forth, even though the Jets blew up the other day, it was against the Browns. I really think Andrew Luck is really going to show off his real mentality and his own style against the Jets. And I really think T.Y. Hilton's going to have, hopefully, a great night. As well as, I really think Andre Johnson's going to possibly get some points as well. So, I'm definitely going Colts. So, those are my picks for week 222. Well, extra, read all about it. Hot off the presses. Okay, fellow sports lovers. I have some really, really bad news about number 88, Mr. Dez Bryant. With him hurting his foot, by the way, on Sunday night, his right foot, during Sunday night's football game against the Giants, doctors have now reported that Dez, will possibly be out for 8 to 12 weeks. Now, ouch. Basically having the same thing that Russell Westbrook had. Now, with this devastating news for the Cowboys and fantasy owners, not to mention, of course, Mr. Dez Bryant himself, who will step up for the Cowboys? Because no offense to Jason Witten or Terrence Williams, but they are no number 88. And without the X, forget about even talking about the playoffs. Well, that's my show, fellow sports lovers. Thanks for tuning in. If you really like what I'm talking about, then go ahead and give me the thumbs up. Or, if you're watching on Periscope, man, do I love them hearts. And if you really feel what I'm talking about, then why haven't you subscribed yet? Or you can reach me below the video here, leave me a comment there, and don't forget to hit me up on social media, on Facebook at Charles Cowan Timeout, and finally at Timeout on Twitter at TimeoutNow87, as well as I'm very active on Periscope. Until next time, time out. Let's talk about some sports.